that was $20.
Worth it.
Shout out to Fiverr. Hi everyone. This is Gabby,
This is Emily.
and we are doing boyfriend material again. Fair trigger warning. When we decided to do this episode, we literally decided to do this episode because the show was trending on Netflix. Nobody did any googling. We just saw hot actors, and the show was trending, and then we got triggered the entire time.
We went in blindly, literally, into the show. I usually don't feel attracted to these kind of shows. Just in
And
general, like I mentioned last episode, I am a sitcom lover. I don't
Emily doesn't fuck with like triggering awful shows,
I don't,
and
I don't gravitate to dramas because my philosophy is that when I watch a show, I want to escape reality and have fun and have a good time. I don't want to have a bad time. I don't want to suffer. I don't want to face, real life issues. That's
honestly, like I was heavily entertained. I must say, I was really entertained.
100%.
I
100%
was
entertaining.
intrigued. I was triggered. I was pissed the fuck off
Yes.
the entire time.
When I was watching it, I was like, this is exactly why I don't watch these shows because I was, reminded of the awful reality women face every
Yo,
day.
being a woman sucks.
Yeah, being
Straight
women
up.
sucks. And like, I have to admit, highly entertaining. It does touch a lot of very important subjects that we need to talk about.
That we're not
Nowadays.
qualified to, uh, probably not qualified to have the biggest grown up opinions on, but trigger warning for sexual assault, and I think that's it, right? And male privilege. So it's insane in this show.
Yeah, it talks. We see privilege, sexual assault. What else? Just
I think that's
male,
it.
white males getting their way,
I think that's it.
entitlement.
But
Yesterday,
yeah, no. That's
yesterday
it.
I went into Twitter and looked up,
The hashtag.
the hashtag and just, all of the tweets were about people recommending the show because it is something that's very relevant to these days and about consent, how, like, what is consent, how consent, which is the topic of the show, can navigate from yes to a no really quickly, and how it is very scary, which is what the show points out, that a lot of men really don't weren't taught how, like, what is consent, how it looks. It doesn't mean that if you start if it starts as a yes, it can, like, the woman suddenly does not want to, and that's okay. But they don't know. They think consent is because they were into it at the beginning. So
Question: when you were watching this show, did you ever believe him?
mine, maybe at the beginning, the happy family, like.
See, I had a whole conspiracy theory that he was not. I think I told you about this. I'm not sure. Um, I said my theory was like I bet he's not gonna be a rapist, but the wife is gonna be so fucking pissed that he was cheating that he's gonna frame him as a rapist, and I'm gonna be like, you know what, as you should.
I At the beginning, when the first episode, it just talks about the cheating scandal. Um, I was like, the wife is gonna go full Gone Girl.
Oh, me too. I was ready for Gone. Like honestly, since the moment Gone Girl came out, I have not experienced euphoria at that level
But
ever again.
I love that trope, the Gone
I
Girl trope.
Oh
I
my god, it's
love
so toxic, but I love women getting revenge. It's my favorite.
I mean,
Um, Promising Young Woman. I did you watch that?
which one?
Promising Young Woman, the movie.
Oh no, I haven't.
You need to watch that
No, it's in
immediately.
my list. I made a list last
No,
year of like
listen,
I know it. I know they were like robbed by the Oscars. I think they weren't
you,
nominated for
bro,
anything.
insane. But like, you also like, honestly, you should watch it with Peter. Peter's Emily's boyfriend, because like, it's gonna send you, and you're gonna need somebody to talk to.
Oh no, and he's like Peter is very very feminist. He like he's really
King Peter.
he's really passionate about all of these like the these not scandals, but when here in Panama,
Peter's opinionated.
here in Panama, there
Um,
have been lately, or not lately, once in a while, there's always like gossip
okay, so
about that
quick
sort of stuff, and he's very passionate. He's very like team, that was
Team
wrong.
Girls. Quick side note: when Emily and Peter visited me in LA, we went to the Laugh Factory, and Chris D'Elia was there, and because of course he's there because cancel culture is fucking fake, and I was pissed, but I thought it was funny because I was like not shocked that he would be there. But Mr. Peter,
Oh,
Peter could not. Peter was so mad. Peter
he
was
was
looking.
so mad, and
He was,
I was like mad, but at the same time, I was like,
the way
I saw a
you
famous person. I had never seen like I
you didn't even know who it was. You didn't even know. Peter was
I
fucking
knew he
triggered.
was famous because of Vine, but
You know him from like, you didn't know him from like you or like like he's a huge comedian, and that was a big fucking scandal. Like
I
those
know.
are minors, sir.
In that moment, I didn't remember of the scandal, and I was like, "Oh my god, he's famous!" Because like when Peter and I planned the trip to LA, I was like, "I have to see someone famous," and
Dude,
then
you don't know who I saw last week. You're gonna lose your shit. I don't think I've told you.
who?
Billy Porter and Jamie Dornan.
No,
They were crossing the street. I swear to fucking God.
love it.
Why are they homies? They were like literally like crossing the street. It was so confusing. I was like, why? Why are you guys having lunch together?
That's
It's
so
so
funny.
weird.
But yeah, so like I saw this man. I was like, "Okay, he's famous." I was kind of pumped, and Peter was like, "No fucking way." Peter was like, "I'm this close to go and like just punch him." I'm like,
Peter was. We had to hold Peter. Peter was ready to fight. It was
Peter,
really funny.
Peter is a cancer, by the way, and he doesn't believe he's such a cancer. Like
He's so emotional. We claim him.
he's
It
very
was.
passionate, and I mean, I love that about him.
It
He's
was
like
really funny.
he loves like he wants justice, and he wants like he should be in jail, and like
I wonder if Chris D'Elia like saw him, because I don't think like he made eye contact with me for a second. I just gave him the stink eye, but Peter was giving him the stink eye.
yes.
So
I,
yes, side note about Peter over. That's it.
I'll watch Promising Young Woman with him.
I think you should put a photo because Emily's editing because she's like randomly like really good at editing and shit. I didn't know this about her, but like that tracks. You should put a photo of Peter so we're here so we can have him as the poster boyfriend.
But
Who
yeah,
doesn't?
um, so
Uh,
I told him yesterday because yesterday was I finished the show yesterday. I told him to watch it because I know
have feelings.
he's gonna be enraged about the whole thing. But I know he's gonna enjoy it in a way that like it's
For sure,
entertaining
I
show.
watched it and I thought Peter's gonna like this show 20 times more than Emily.
Oh, 100%.
Like we should have Peter.
He's like he's a huge podcast fan, but more like sports podcasts. But
Yeah, we don't do that. We don't care.
I'll convince him to like come on
But
and to like when we do an episode about something he watches. I don't know. We'll see.
we can also do an episode about sports and he can explain like
I
random
think it's gonna
players.
be only him talking, and we're gonna be
No,
like,
but like, well, I'll explain later. I have
okay,
an idea.
I have an idea. Maybe we can choose like the top 5 NFL whatever
Yes,
players.
yes, and we can like make Tinder profiles for them, and we can swipe.
Love, love. He's gonna.
Anyway,
Peter's gonna have opinions.
speaking about swiping, I do want to say this man's Mr. Whitehouse is fine as hell. Like it's an issue. I swear to God. Like if he was half as attractive as he is, he probably would still be able to get away with it because he's that hot.
That was that's the reason why everything was so not disturbing, but it's like he's a rapist, but at the same time, it's like he's so handsome.
Okay, but when he was with the nanny, the kid's nanny, and they were having ice cream, I was fucking terrified. I was like, Nanny,
I
get the
was
fuck out. Nanny, leave.
I was terrified. I was like, run, Christina, run to Russia, go back. Was it Russia?
Yeah, I think it was Russia. I was like, Christina, you need to get the fuck out immediately. And I also like, she knew some tea. She knew some tea because when the wife was like, do you think he's a rapist? She's like, he's a man.
No, the wife was like, do you think he's a good man? And Christina was like, he's a man. I was like,
Christina, you have some tea. You need to be like spilling immediately.
spin off
Also,
about Christina. Spin off.
Christina, immediately. Also, I found this really funny because they show like the fact that White House is the last name was sending me the entire time. And then I thought that was the most ridiculous.
Symbolism, like White House.
That I thought that was the most ridiculous until Holly Berry showed up, and I was like, "How are you naming a character Holly Berry?"
I saw
No,
the tweet yesterday, like the fact that everybody related Holly Berry to like Christmas instead of Haley Berry. Cat Williams.
I yeah, like I was immediately like, Holly Berry, like what?
But people instantly thought about like Christmas. I don't know.
Not me, not
It
me.
sounded like a strawberry shortcake name, like a strawberry shortcake character.
Insane. Justice for Holly Berry. I'm like, yeah, Justice for Holly Berry, aka Kate. If you're listening to this episode and you followed this show, you know this is like spoiler city. So
Yeah,
if you were
spoiler
planning,
alert right now. If you haven't watch it, go
we already spoiled everything,
and,
literally,
like go watch it and come back.
because we have thoughts.
We have
But
thoughts.
yes, no. Thesis statement: all the men in this show are fucking trash, and the women are great.
All the men
Like,
in this show are white, privileged, rich AF, went to like what's the word in English? Like socialite, like yeah, yeah.
social,
In English,
socialite.
like
They're
they
very much like socialites and like bougie ass everything, and it's my favorite. Honestly, like the only thing they have going for them is their taste in like house decor because the houses were stunning. Like that was something
yeah.
they were living good. Like the houses were really
Meanwhile, like the wife finding out about the scandals, and I was just like looking at the living
at
room.
the house. Me too. Looking at the living room and at her outfits.
The kitchen was stunning. I was like,
The
yo,
kitchen. Oh my god, that kitchen, literally the size of my apartment right
like I for a minute was like, I can see why she's sticking with this marriage.
now. I can see why she's trying to gaslight herself.
100%.
Because
You
bitch
know that
knew. Bitch knew.
the kitchen was like Food Network magazine vibe.
Insane.
Insane.
Insanity. Also the wardrobe, like she had some really good outfits the
I feel
entire
at the
time.
beginning she had better outfits. Of course, throughout the series, she started to like lose it.
Yeah, because she's losing her. Okay, but like straight up, why didn't she become an alcoholic? Like that was crazy to me. Because like when she grabbed that bottle of wine and started drinking it like this, I was like, finally, this makes sense.
I mean,
It
the
took
fact that she went to like the court hearings, I was like, girl, you are strong. And like hear all that
her
because they have to be so like they have to be
so
so
specific.
literal and they have to be so like graphic about everything that
I
happened.
was losing it, and it's like not real and nothing.
Yeah, I saw tweets like I'm a lawyer and like it's so not realistic, and I was
Is
like,
it
something like
really?
that. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't. I feel like when I mean I'm obviously not a lawyer, but I think that it would have to be if we're
No, like
arguing
it wasn't
consent.
realistic in the way they like interview something like that. Like, oh, but the way the cross examination, like it
Well,
was a
like cross
like
examinations are never like accurate on TV shows.
I
And
mean,
like I don't know if you're
TV
following.
shows
Are you following the Johnny Depp case?
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, dude, yesterday when I watched for a bit, and I shit you not, on the live stream I was watching, there was 500 people, no, 500,000 people watching on my, like, the one I was watching. It was crazy. And like, I was watching it, and I'm interested, and I'm intrigued. And then I thought, this is why cross examinations on TV are the way they are, because this shit is so long.
Yeah. No, of
Like,
course it's not gonna be 100% accurate. It's a show. They're supposed to be dramatic. It's supposed to be a little bit more fast paced. But overall, I just, admired how the wife went and sat there and
that
like
is masochism.
I mean, but like I did understand that the husband was like, you have to go because if she didn't go, it's gonna look bad for like PR reasons. But at the same
Okay, but like
time,
also poor Christina, the maid who's working there. And how the fuck like are you explaining that to the children? Like what do they think?
okay,
I'm
no.
confused.
How about how freaking cringe was that they were like, White Houses always come out up on top, and like the kids, they taught them to like say that so proudly. I was
I
like,
wanted to hide. Holy shit! And like his parents being like, "Yeah, you're so good for him. Of course we let him cheat. It's okay." And she was like, "Wait, hold up. You raised this man to cheat on
yeah,
Monopoly?
parents enabled this behavior throughout his whole life
Crazy, crazy." And like honestly, I fully believe it because I know people that
that are like that.
are like that, and that like you
Parents
just know that their parents like allowed that shit to happen.
I was a teacher, and I'm not saying my students were the R word, of course
Your,
not. But I'm
your
saying,
children, first up.
but like
How
parents,
old were your
some parents.
students?
I was a first grade teacher. But what I'm saying is, some parents do enable certain behaviors because they're tired or whatever, or just because they can't admit that their children did something wrong, and they're like, no, um, he will never do that because the mom was like, he's not a rapist, but like they defend their children's mistake and like mistakes, and they do that so often throughout like their life that when something that fucked up happens, they're still in denial. That's why it's so important to like hold your kids accountable, even if they like cheated on a test
I
and
think
got
it's
they got what's the word, like billaos, like they got caught. And some parents are like,
oh
no,
yeah.
my kid would never do that, blah 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 blah, instead of being like, you know what, you're grounded. Like a lot of parents defend their kids even though they're wrong, and then they grow up and become. Hi, this is Emily editing. And it turns out we went on a 20-minute tangent about high school, like cheating in high school. So I just cut it out. So enjoy the rest of the podcast. But yeah, so going back to Anatomy of a Scandal, because we are so.
Bitch cheated
He,
big
he,
time.
he cheated, but big time. Not school. That we don't care. But like,
He cheated
don't
the
cheat on your.
system. He
Don't cheat
cheated on his wife. He cheat. No, absolutely. Okay, but like, so moments that sent me. One, when we find out that Kate is Holly Berry, I fucking
That
like
was
spat my water.
that was the biggest plot twist.
That was crazy. But also, the idea that this bitch, they had the fucking meth shit where the guy committed assisted suicide, basically.
Yeah.
Um, and then he was like, you know what? I'm gonna go rape this girl, and then I'm gonna go to my girlfriend's. Like that's his. Like, bitch, what? Hold up. Like, what?
That was,
Explain yourself. Also, the casting was fantastic because the actors looked like just like them as kids.
yeah, they did.
I
But
just like wanted explanations, like how does your brain work? Where do you think this what?
I mean, clearly this episode we're gonna end single because I'm not gonna choose.
Yeah, we're not claiming any of this, man. We'll talk about the girls because the girls
But let's
can't.
just talk about a little bit about the men. There's not a lot to say because they're all trash.
They're all
But
trash. Mr. Whitehouse is handsome.
there's
That's all he
basically
has.
there's basically three men characters in this show. There's Mr. Whitehouse, which is the rapist. There's the prime minister, which is like his bestie
Buddy.
from Oxford. That's nice. Yeah, they were like libertines, which was this like socialite gentleman
Dude,
fraternity, but
Oxford
like
is so funny to me. That is so like the whole like academia club shit where I can't.
that was so extra.
It's
So
like later in the sorority. I'm sorry.
and there was also Chris Clark. What was his name? Chris something, which was the PR manager.
Okay, the PR manager, like I hated him, but he was doing his job.
And
And
he
then the
was calling Mr. Whitehouse out. He was like, "You lied. You told me you had no like." He was doing his job, and he was also calling him like, "Dude, like."
he's the best one, I would say. Because the other option we have would be Kate's boyfriend, who's a married man, so he's also cheating.
I mean, that was interesting. Because Kate, if you haven't watched the series and don't plan to, and you're hearing this because you're supporting
Because
her,
you think we're cute and entertaining.
uh-huh.
We
Kate
love you for
is the prosecutor. Kate
that.
is
Yeah.
Kate is the lawyer of the girl that was raped. I don't know the lawyer terms or whatever, but like she's prosecuting a man, who raped, like point apart from the scandal of the affair, but she's also part of an affair, So
Yeah.
it's a little bit like, girl, you should not be in this mess. But then we find out,
And then, uh, you find out that he raped her when
yeah,
they were
we
at
should like
uni,
we
like
should
they call
include a little synopsis. Is that how you say it? Like at the beginning of the podcast.
it. Okay, let's do it.
Let's
I'll give one
wait.
sentence and then you follow up with a different
Okay,
sentence.
okay, you start.
Show opens, bougie ass family, gorgeous wife, gorgeous husband. He works at the government at some capacity. We don't fucking know. Emily and I don't know. We're just watching this show. They're British
They
and they
called
look
him when they called him a minister. I was like, what? But then I understood he was part of the parliament. I was like, oh, so he's not a minister.
so he's bougie, but like yeah, I was like, oh okay.
He's
Uh
the government, so important shit.
he's like he's important. Anyway, what happens next?
So we find out that they're going to leak an affair he had been having for 5 months, and he tells his wife, like this is going to be printed tomorrow, just to let you know. And she's like, okay, like she she took it really
She
nicely.
took it 20 times better than I would have.
I was like, girl. She even slept in the same bed that night with him. I was like,
Okay, the fact
I was
that she didn't
he should have
send him
slept in the freaking sofa. Like,
exactly. Yes, we're the same kind of person. I could not believe it. The way that she slept in the same bed as this man the entire show was crazy.
I mean, she was gaslighting herself 100%. So,
100%.
yeah, first episode is all about like handling, PR. He gives a statement to the press like, it was a mistake, blah, blah, blah. Love my wife, love my children. And then at the end of the episode, we find out that the girl from the affair worked for this man. So that is why it was a little bit more fucked up, because he was in a position of power because he was her boss. It's
What the
not
fuck
that
is
he
she
was
gonna do?
like, it was not a random person. So
Yeah.
then we find out that she's claiming rape, and then continue.
And then trial begins. And then we're doing trial, and the trial is fucking crazy because they're super specific and they're telling you like the order of events.
Like I
And like,
grabbed her buttocks, and then I grabbed her breast, and then I
and
kissed her, and blah blah blah. And the wife is just like,
that was just there. I gave her a love bite, and I was like, wow, what do you mean
and
by that?
the trial starts. The first one to give like her statement was Olivia, which was the mistress, right? And then
Yeah.
she claims that she has been in love with Mr. Whitehouse, and Mr. Whitehouse had told her wife like, "No, this meant nothing, blah blah blah." And then the wife has
Gaslight number one there.
yeah, and then the wife has to hear at court Olivia saying like, I was in love with him, blah blah blah, but he ended it after 5 months, and then after ending it, like a week later, the rape happened. But she narrates the rape like it started as consensual, like they were kissing, whatever, in an elevator, but then he got aggressive, and then she said, "Not here." But he continued, and he called her like, "Don't be a
And
prick."
she pushed him away. That's relevant. She pushed him and she said, not here. And then he goes, don't be such a prick tease. And the amount, okay, I swear to God, this show, they discuss the word prick tease for at least 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, what if?
But then like so Kate is this lawyer. She is representing Olivia. Okay. Um and then eventually who gives the next statement? I think it was 2 days straight of Olivia.
Yeah,
But then comes a
Olivia.
friend, like a friend, and she was like saying, like, I told Olivia that the affair was a mistake, but then when the rape happened, the friend was the one that said, like, that this was rape.
Yeah, and then okay, White House's lawyer, the black lady, insanely good lawyer, like straight up, like I was bothered that she was doing so well.
I was like, for a minute, like, are you making a good case? And I was like, no.
Yeah, yes, she was making an insanely good case. Like we couldn't even be mad. Like she fucking understood the assignment. Also, side note, I really really enjoyed. I have never seen this on a show before, and Emily doesn't really do drama, but I do. I watch all the things. I watch drama, reality, comedy, all of it. I have never seen lawyers from opposing sides hang out
Oh, they
and
were
be
like buddies.
they were chilling. They were like, dude, you did a really good job. And I was like, I love women. That's like women being nice to each other because like at
Because
the end it's
they
not
are
about
able
them.
to separate, their job from their lives.
Yeah, like it wasn't a pissing contest for them.
Hashtag professional.
Hashtag girl boss. Loved it.
Hashtag boss
Truly
bitches.
loved it.
But yeah, so
Uh,
then came the statement from Mr. Whitehouse. Oh, but before the statement from Mr. Whitehouse, the PR guy comes in one night and he's like, dude,
oh, that's amazing.
like there's someone,
He comes in
he like,
banging on the door.
he tells Mr. Whitehouse and the wife, like, there's a rumor that you also assaulted someone in your university
College.
days. And he's like, who, what? And they mentioned the name Holly Berry, and the wife was triggered because they had been showing flashbacks that this Holly Berry was tutorial partners, whatever that means,
Whatever the fuck
with
that means.
her. So, for context, Mr. Whitehouse and the wife, they met at the university,
Yeah.
and she was
And she was
going,
like in love with him immediately.
and
Like she was like, that's my man's, that's my
oh, and
husband.
they were like classic golden couple, like
Yeah, they looked
blonde
great
girl.
together.
She looked like the clueless girl. What was her name?
Alicia Silverstone energy.
Yeah. So same hair, like divine. And at that moment, she was taking a class or a tutorial, whatever that is. I don't know. We don't know.
I'm thinking that because they were like, I'm not sure what their job was. It looks like it was something with education, I
But
think.
like, so then we always say the wife. I think her name is Sophie. But
Her name is
Sophie was
Sophie.
a bitch. She was like always like asking for the notes from Holly Berry, and she never did her part.
Mhm.
So like Holly Berry, Loki hated her tutorial partner, which
Oh,
was Sophie.
Holly Berry fucking hated Sophie Whitehouse before she was a White House.
Yeah, and then like we learned that
But
they
like
were
honestly,
tutorial
the
partners.
redemption for Sophie Whitehouse, we claim that.
Yeah,
That last scene, queen shit, queen behavior.
gone girl shit. But
She
yeah, so
went
like
gone girl.
we learned that they're tutorial partners. So when the PR guy comes at night and says like, "Oh, the supposed other girl that you assaulted was Holly Berry," the wife is
Losing her fucking shit.
like,
This man's like, who's Holly Berry? And she said something that I thought was really interesting. She goes, you wouldn't remember her. She's not your type. And I was like, what do you mean? What do you want? Like, not so you're basically acknowledging the fact that your husband only respects women he finds attractive. Is that it? Is that all you're saying, ma'am?
yeah. She was
That's
also clearly a privileged,
yeah.
girl growing up. And she knew that she was stunning all her life.
Oh yeah. There's no way you look like that and you don't know.
But yeah, so she's losing it like, what? What did you do to Holly Berry? And he's like, I don't even know her. And she's like, oh, but all the girls that you slept with that year, like, they start fighting.
Yeah,
And then
as
whatever.
they should.
The time comes for the man from Mr. Whitehouse to like give his statement, and like, he denies that he raped her, but he did admit that he loved the
That
mistress.
was fucking messy. Because he told the wife that he didn't, and then when he admits that he loved her, she's like, "Bitch, you told me you didn't," and he was like, I was lying because it was better for me to lie." So
Yeah,
she's like, "So
so they
you're
were,
a fucking liar. You're lying,"
yeah,
and I'm like, "Yes, Sophie Whitehouse, call him the fuck out."
yeah. So then like both of them start like, going over like what they remembered from that like day, and then they start like connecting the dots, and it was the day of like the guy who died, blah blah blah. Holly Berry was drunk. They were all drunk. Everything that happened, and then Sophie in one of the trials.
Wait, no, but basically, let's say what happened that day. That day,
Oh yeah, the tea was that like
the tea, the actual tea,
Mr. Whitehouse bestie with the prime minister from that year, like present day.
prime
The
minister.
White House is like besties with the prime minister. And like 20 years back, they were besties, and they were also besties in the university. And then like
Mm-hmm.
the prime minister was doing heroin with another classmate,
Was
Mr.
it heroin?
Whitehouse.
I thought it was meth. I don't know
It was
about. I don't know shit about drugs.
I think it was heroin.
Okay,
And like Mr. Whitehouse rescues prime minister, like gets him out of the situation because he knew that,
that shit was gonna go
I mean, point for Mr. Whitehouse, smart, like just
to
let's
his
get out of
friend.
here, let's go to bed. But the thing
Yeah,
that they were leaving, oh, the prime minister back it was doing the heroin on like a rooftop with a guy,
random guy.
and the
Never.
random guy stayed at the rooftop. The other two go down, and when they're walking, the other guy like starts talking to them from the rooftop. Of
He
course, he was
says he can fly. He says something about like he can like I can fly, and
he
then
was on drugs. He was
he
high.
was fully out of his mind. And then
Prime
Prime Minister, I think
minister,
his name is Edgar, something with an E.
who was also high, started like, yeah, yeah, you can fly. And,
Follow your dreams. Trust yourself.
and then the prime minister, sorry, Mr. Whitehouse was like, shut up, let's get out of here. And then they hear like splat. And you guys know what that means.
Motherfucker jumped. He
He
jumped
started,
off, and then Mr. Whitehouse, he's a cunt, but he's a smart cunt because they fucking ran for their lives. They ran the fuck out, and he basically cut basically to him hanging out with his girlfriend, which is
oh,
this bitch.
but before he went, like,
Before we didn't know that.
like he leaves the prime minister in his dorm, and when he starts walking towards air quotes if you're listening this not
Air
watching
quotes.
us, he's heading towards his girlfriend's room. He finds that like he had taken the aluminum paper thing where they do
Yeah,
the drugs. He had taken it from the prime minister and like wrinkled it and put it in his pocket. Then he finds it, hears like the ambulance, and then he just like disposes it. He throws it away, which is like legally the evidence. And
yeah.
he heads towards the his girlfriend,
Girlfriend.
future wife room, and from point A to point B, that's when he plot twist assaults Holly Berry. You know, like
And
he was
that's
like drunk.
crazy. Because
What?
man, that's insane. Like, man just saw somebody
Yeah.
jump off a roof. He disposes of evidence, and he's like, you know what? I'm horny right
And he was heading towards his girlfriend's room. Just have sex with
now.
her. That's what I don't get about like men who cheat. Like point apart, not rape, just cheating. You have a girlfriend. Like go have sex with her.
Insane.
Then
Insane. Insane.
Holly,
Insane. No.
Holly Berry was drunk, and at first when they like bump into each other, she was kind of like, revenge. I hate Sophie because she steals my notes, and like she does start kissing him consensually because it was kind of like revenge ish, like your boyfriend
See,
wants
I didn't get that as like a revenge
not
situation. But now
revenge,
that you think about it,
but
yeah,
she did
I
feel
get it. Like,
flattered. She did feel
yeah,
flattered that he was oh
because he was like the hot one, and she was clearly not like they're honestly. I think she was really pretty, but they paint her as like,
because she had like glasses. She was like the nerd.
yeah, she was clearly like not into like. She
She was
was there to like, fucking get her degree and get the fuck out. Like, she did
not
not really
she was not the popular one, and that's okay.
whatever.
But then I did get the vibe that she was like, oh, so your popular boyfriend is hitting on me, and
Hmm.
you're treating me like trash because you take all my notes and you don't do your part of the job of the teamwork. And like they do start kissing consensually, but
Hmm.
then he gets aggressive, and then she's like, you
Like,
know what,
only
no.
3 seconds.
And she tells him in the flashback like I should go, like I shouldn't be here, I should go. And he's like, oh, you know what, sorry. And then he starts again like kissing her but super gently, and then she like gives in again, but then in like a second he gets aggressive again.
Boom.
He like
And he says the iconic words.
he tells her don't be such a prick tease and takes her virginity. That's like so freaking fucked up.
It's awful.
And like proceeds to rape her in like under 30 seconds, and then she has this like her blood drained from her face. She's like shook it to her core, and he's like, oh, sorry, I did not know you were a virgin. He
I
apologizes for
would have been
that.
I would have been slower if I knew. And I was like,
And he's like, sorry, are you okay? And she's like, yeah. And then he's like, okay, bye, and runs off to his girlfriend's room. And we're like, what the heck? And of
at this
course,
point,
Holly
it's like
Berry does not go to the police because they would never, believed her. Blah blah blah.
it's only 1 in the morning at this point, right? Like it's like girlfriend's asleep.
Yeah, but then Holly Berry changes her identity, and then the future, back to present day, is
She's
Kate,
a prosecutor.
which is the prosecutor. But in the flashback, Mr. Whitehouse gets to the Sophie's room, slightly tells her about the evening, referring to like
Not
getting
really. He
dumped.
basically asks her to be the alibi, but he doesn't give her the complete information, and she's like so blinded by love for him that
Yeah,
she's like, okay, I got you. Like, it strikes you as an audience that it doesn't even cross her mind for a second that it was going to be something that dark.
yeah,
And he took that and he went with it, and awful,
yeah.
awful.
So
And flash forward trial, we find out that Holly Berry is the prosecutor,
And
and
Sophie starts to get suspicious about, Kate's real identity, because like, her she like saw her notes, and it was the same way that Holly Berry took notes with the highlighters and the post-its. Terrible detective, honestly. Anybody could take notes like that. But sure, she's like,
I get it. I that like that makes sense. Like it's sometimes you feel like something's off and you can't pinpoint
I
it.
mean, it does make sense because it's not like the most obvious lead, but I mean they did look alike, and um, Sophie connects the dots, and but she doesn't like tell anyone. She just like starts, um, investigating on her own, and then when finally Mr. Whitehouse gives his verdict, at the next day they decide he's not guilty. So like Kate at her house losing her
Did
shit
you think
because
he was gonna get? Did you think he was gonna get convicted?
I don't know.
Dude, I did not think so. Like I did. I think it was rape, probably. Yeah, but I knew that he wasn't gonna get convicted because
I
one, the lawyer did
I
a
think
fantastic
that was
job.
more. I ended up being convinced that he was a rapist in general, more because of the Holly Berry situation.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the the sad thing here with Olivia, which is the present day mistress, is that they were having an affair. So people sadly were gonna go on with that, like, oh, you were doing something wrong to start with. So, which is sad
Yeah,
because the
it
fact
was just sad.
the fact that you're having an affair does not mean that you need to get raped. That like, no,
Awful,
awful.
awful. He fucking gets released, and he's like so happy, and he thinks his life is just like gonna go up from here. But our girlie pulls a gone girl.
Sophie, yeah, pulls a gone girl, reaches out to Kate, tells her like, I know your identity, and Kate is like, he raped me, blah blah blah. That's your husband. He's a rapist. And Sophie is like, okay, I know I was blinded, gaslighted, etc. But you know what? I just told the police about an event that happened 20 years ago, which was the guy who jumped. And the series ends with like, the prime minister, which was,
The
kind
bestie.
of responsible for the whole thing, like getting into a car. And the prime minister gets into a car, and we see Kate putting her iconic wig ready for battle because she's going
Again.
to put them into jail, like send them to jail as they should. So
Something that
like,
I thought was interesting was that when Kate was like talking to Sophie, she was a little I really liked how Sophie said that she was underestimated and overestimated her entire life.
yeah,
Like Kate was so ready to believe that Sophie was not gonna be on her side.
yeah.
So fucking ready. And Sophie was like, no bitch, actually.
My plan all along. I mean, I do understand Sophie, standing by his side because, they have a family. Like when you have children, everything gets more complicated, and you're trying to like, stay together because of them. But she realized that, like slowly but surely, she saw
It
that
took her a
her
little too
husband,
long.
was wrong, like he
It's
never really knew him.
it was crazy. It was crazy. And when he's like begging her to stay,
Girl.
and she's like, I'm not staying because I cannot let my children be like you.
Or like
Oh! Shots fired.
Or like
Shots fired.
in the first episode when the rape thing hadn't like come through yet, when they were like having lunch at like wherever, and he's like, I'm willing to give everything up. I'm willing to quit this job just for you, like the gaslight. Insane.
Yeah. And like what's awful is that in that first episode, we still don't fully hate him and he's so handsome. So we're like,
He's cute.
hmm,
He is
he's so
he
cute.
is fine. I was like, oh, so cute. He's willing to give up everything. But then, like, as every episode happened, I was like, girl, mm-mm.
Dude, this shit fucking sent Sienna Miller, the girl that plays Sophie Whitehouse. I was telling you that she was Jude Law's wife, and then he cheated on her with the nanny, and it was a whole like public scandal. Like it was awful for her. It's like I want to say mid 90s or like late 90s.
Yeah.
So this shit was probably like hard.
She was
For
like real like this show maybe was her way of like,
yeah,
closure maybe, like what she would like to do. Like I don't know.
that was it was a lot. It was a lot. But like if we had to pick within the women, I think that like a part of me wants to pick Sophie as like the best girlfriend because she like stuck up for like what she thought was right, and when she realized that it wasn't right, she like switched gears. But if I'm being practical, the best ride or die like here 1000% would be Angela, the black lady lawyer.
Oh, 100%.
Black lady lawyer, the Angela, she understands the assignment
Yeah.
the entire time. Like
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
Like if I had to pick a partner
Like
for like anything, I would pick Angela, but Sophie might be the best
yeah,
girlfriend.
because I mean, I think sadly Kate is out of the running because
I
girl,
can't. Kate's too. She's. I love her, but she's shady.
she's shady. She has a secret identity. You
Mhm.
know, she's having an affair, so not ethical as well.
I
Girl,
can't.
you're a little hot mess, but you're
Yeah,
great.
she's
But
she
you're
needs
great.
help.
We love that you're getting sort of like justice, not in a direct way towards what happened to you, but
But
there's
you know what? Low key, this might be better because I think that like this
it
would
doesn't ruin her.
actually sink his political career. Like legit, like this one would sink it because like people are weird about consent. Like I can totally see somebody being like, no, she's just bitter. It wasn't rape. But this shit, murder.
And it doesn't stain her career. Like it's not gonna
Yeah,
be like, oh,
yeah,
the girl who blah blah blah.
yeah.
Can keep on being a badass lawyer without being in the scandal. Because sadly, Olivia now that which is was the mistress, and she was like a great, I don't know what her,
Whatever.
she was like a political analyst, whatever.
Analyst or something. Her career is donezo.
Dead, yeah, like, and not because of the rape, but because of the affair as well. So like she
And the
also,
trial and how public it was.
even if
Um,
even if they had decided that Mr. Whitehouse was guilty, she was still gonna lose because they were gonna,
yeah, for sure, for sure, for
which
sure.
is sad because women are always gonna lose in these situations, even if the man is convicted.
If you could have either the house or the closet of Sophie Whitehouse, what would you pick?
House.
House, right? See, I was thinking for a second that maybe closet because I feel like the house wouldn't match my complexion.
Girl, I'm gonna repeat it again, the kitchen.
The kitchen. We should do a fan cam for the kitchen.
I'm gonna put it here.
It's such a nice kitchen.
But like I think I would also choose the, what was the name of the other lawyer?
Angela.
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 Great gal.
Angela will fucking get the
Oh,
job
but
done.
the Kate's best friend, loyal girl as well.
Loyal bestie.
The one that was
I also like her.
her.
Yeah, she's good. I like her. I liked her.
But for like practical purposes, Angela.
Angela. Yeah, like strategy Angela, for sure.
She will get you out of any mess.
Do you think Angela really thought he was innocent?
She 100% thought that he was a rapist.
Oh, 100%. She 100% thought he raped
That's what
her.
blew
But
my
she,
mind. It got me thinking about just lawyers in general, the ones that, um, practice their
yeah,
lawyer things inside a court, because
lawyering.
not all lawyers do court houses and stuff, but like
Yeah,
these types of lawyers that when you have to defend like corrupt people, like murderers, and you have to like, girl, you deserve an Oscar because you're
like
like
honestly,
you're
I think as a
performance.
lawyer,
your performance as a lawyer, like, is so convincing that you think that your client is innocent. Oscar.
Okay, would you rather, if you were a lawyer, would you rather have to defend like a drug dealer,
Well,
a
I was
cheater, or like a murderer?
I was in the debate club back in school.
Or you, of course you
I was
would.
not the best. Never won anything. My parents were pissed because they sent me to like all these debate competitions, and I was empty-handed. They were pissed, but I made fun friends. That's where I met my best friend, Virgilio. But yeah, so in when we were like practicing in school, the debate meetings were on Wednesday. They sometimes gave us a topic, and they told us if we were like like against or
Yeah,
pro.
pro. Yeah,
Yeah,
I did that too. I was
and
really good at
like
debate class.
there was a time I had to defend like Noriega, which was our dictator, like girl.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and
Oh
of
shit.
course there was a time I had to like be against abortion, and I was like, and you have to like fully believe it, and you're actually like I'm pro
Yeah, choice.
choice.
Pro choice.
So yeah, I mean I've kind of experienced it in a fictional
Fictional.
fictional way.
Fic- yeah, that's
Yep,
basically
like
what
yeah,
honestly like
like role playing, like I am a lawyer.
Model UN.
Yeah, but like it's crazy how some people in real life have to like like
Insane.
really
I mean, I
get in the
think
role. Like I am defending like Ted Bundy. Like what the heck?
I think when it's I don't know if I could if it was like a rape, if it's like a one victim thing, but if it's like drugs and like there's a shit ton of people that I can't put faces on, I feel like I could potentially maybe under the right circumstances
What was that?
deal with that. But like when it's just one person and you're seeing that other person fucking cry on the stand, no, no,
I
I
mean,
can't.
I think because I don't know the procedures with like in London and whatever
Okay,
like
this one I
the
know. They
laws
were
over
sick
there.
wigs.
Huh?
They were iconic little wigs.
No, yeah, but like it said like Mr. Whitehouse versus the Crown.
Yeah, I think the
So
crown is like the Commonwealth, like the people.
yeah, so like, but I think they were like these lawyers like Kate and Angela, they worked together. They're actually like under the same
Yeah,
roof,
probably.
and they just like give them cases and like, oh, do you want to represent this person? I
I
don't
don't
know.
think
So like
literally like you're selected for this.
it's not like here in Panama that you get your own lawyer. Like I don't know.
We don't really know. We haven't been in the position to
Yeah, I don't, and I don't
be
kind of,
lawyers.
I don't
But
care.
this show is crazy.
Yeah,
The acting
it really
is insane.
sparks an important conversation on consent, and nowadays people talk more about consent. 20 years ago it was really taboo to talk about it. I think people didn't even know it was a thing, and even Sophie tell it like talks about it in the show, like 20 years ago I never thought about, that you could change your mind mid sex or something. And like, it's really important to talk about it. It's a good show, maybe not to watch
I,
with like young kids, but maybe with like a 15,
it's
16
a
year
really
old.
good show, but like it's gonna send you.
Oh, yeah.
Like I was not like we were talking about this like via iMessage before we like recorded well what we were watching. Like I was not prepared for the level of sending
Yeah.
that this show was gonna deliver.
Mid show, I told Gabby, like, we're not going to pick any man in this.
We're single. We're single on this
We're
one.
single.
We're straight up single.
We chose a bestie,
Yeah.
Angela, and
I mean, no, Angela's a partner. Bestie, I would pick Sophie. If I was to
or
marry
or
somebody,
Christina.
Angela.
Christina. The
Of course, the nanny.
nanny.
Dude, Justice for Christina though.
I think
Like
that would be my bestie. She's like, he's a man, not a good man. He's just a man. Yes, Christina.
Christina
Shots
is
fired.
the
Like the shade
she was so shady in the best ways.
and the best
Really fucking
nanny.
shady.
She was so shady because like when they returned from like the court and he had given like his statement and they just like fought in the car about like him lying and they come to the house and Christina had planned like the happy anniversary surprise. The shade.
She knew. Bitch knew.
Bitch knew, like she knew they were in the middle of a freaking scandal, and she's like, "Happy anniversary!" to like rub it in Mr. Whitehouse's face, like you're a bad
Iconic
person. You're a
queen.
bad
Queen
person.
favorite. I
Queen.
do I must say, the only thing that like sent me that was not like sendable, I guess, for other people, if that makes sense, when fucking it just took Sophie Whitehouse way too long to like lose her shit. Like when she was eating the cake and drinking the wine from the bottle, I was like, bitch, finally.
Yeah.
God. Like,
I
what
still
do you
can't
need?
believe she slept in the same bed. Girl, no.
Couldn't be me. Could never be me.
And how she never like screamed, that she never like went off. She only like started losing it when the Holly Berry thing came to light. But
Because she could put a face. I think she's the kind of person that can dissociate when she doesn't really know. Like she didn't really know the other girl, but she could. She was like,
before
I know Holly Berry.
but before the rape scandal, like he cheated on you for 5 months, girl. Leave him, leave his ass. Like
I see. I'm very against cheating. I really am. But like sometimes, and it's funny because when I was watching the show, I was like, I don't know, like that's crazy. Like, what would you do? I think
like
I would leave
maybe
and maybe
she
try couples therapy and shit.
yeah,
But
but
like,
like even it just to teach him a lesson and like scare him a little bit, leave for a week.
also,
You know?
why was couples therapy never in the conversation?
I don't know.
You have fucking money. I mean, it's also British, and British people don't really do therapy.
But like I understand maybe, he cheated, you want to make things work because you have children, but scare his ass, make him think you're gonna leave, go for a week to your parents' house, take the children, make him reflect on what he did.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't sleep
Don't
in
go to
the same
trial. Don't
bed.
fucking go to trial.
But yeah.
Ruin it for him.
And what about
Insane.
like the just like not closing remarks, but like little things I remember. The old guy in when they went to lunch in the first episode, and he was like, "Ha ha ha! My wife told me it's okay just one time, not the second. Like it's okay to cheat one time."
That was crazy. No, okay, what was crazy is that he told that to her.
Yeah,
Because I could see that being a thing, like a joke between guys, but like
that
he
was
thought that it was a good idea to tell her.
that was crazy. I was like,
No,
"Sir, sir, sir, shut up."
absolutely not. Do you recognize the guy, the actor, the White House guy?
No,
He's on Pride and Prejudice.
I I watched Pride and Prejudice years ago, and
I'm a big Pride. It's one of my
Mr.
favorite movies.
I only recognize Mr. Darcy and Kira.
He's on Succession. Okay, he- okay, so I don't know if you're gonna remember this, but in Pride and Prejudice, one of the sisters kind of like gets knocked up, and it's like a whole thing, and they have to make a quick marriage. He's the guy.
Oh, but he must have been so young.
Oh, he looks fine too.
Oh,
Like
of course.
there, he's a blonde, which is weird, but yeah, I know. But yeah, it's Mr. Bingley. I think it's his. Is it Bingley? I think that's the name. I don't remember, but yeah. Crazy show.
Crazy show.
I wish I could keep watching. Can't lie, because I'm invest. Mr. Wickham, that was his name. I'm invested. But I do think it's a great ending.
It is a great ending, it's not like an open ending that you're gonna see a second season, but obviously you can speculate what goes down after the ending, and it's like sort of like restorative justice. He doesn't
We
truly
do
get
love
away
that
with
it's a
it.
good show.
It is a good
The,
show. Recommend it's 6 episodes, so it's not that you have to
I
invest so much time.
honestly, I think it would have been better for me if I watched the entire show in one sitting, and then I could be sent once just during that day instead of like because I watched it in like 3 days, and
But
I watched like two
the first
episodes a
two
day.
episodes, you're not like that much enraged. It's after like the third episode that you really start
But
like,
after the third number four episode number, I told you episode number four. Fuck no! Like you're so mad.
yeah. But
I hope I never lose my ability to get so mad, happy, excited, and all the feelings for fictional characters. It's like I swear to God, I have a theory that watching TV is like a workout for me
it is.
because I am like invested the entire time.
But yeah, this was we did not
Not
expect
a,
it to be
not a,
so
mm-mm.
intense, but it is a must watch in the sense of relevant topics to nowadays.
We didn't expect this. We didn't really know how this episode was gonna go, and it's kind of off brand. Like, but we
Yeah.
watched the show and we had thoughts, and we were like, Bessie, we have thoughts regardless, so we might as
Yeah,
well
it's not the
record it.
typical episode in this podcast, but yeah, we needed to vent 100%.
Because we were honestly, we were just triggered. Like, we were just fucking triggered after we watched this show, and we don't know, like, who else are we gonna talk to about this? So,
But next episode is gonna be very lighthearted.
next episode is gonna be right back on happy-go-lucky brand,
Yeah.
and none of these like rapist mess.
So no more rapey stuff.
No more rapey stuff. But thank you for listening and getting enraged with us if you
Yeah,
watched.
if you didn't plan to watch the series, you just got a very passionate take from us.
Uh yeah, you can be triggered with us. We are very much triggered and
The show.
dude,
Oh
why
no.
is my computer okay, so in case you're wondering why my computer's getting a shit ton of messages randomly, I discovered that a friend of mine yesterday, I'm not joking, she's never seen the Twilight series.
Oh my.
And that set me. I was like, yeah, you're joking.
No,
She has no clue.
it's
She like doesn't know anything about it.
no, it's a must. I mean, I'm not. I was never a fan, but I saw the movie.
It's a fucking cultural.
Phenomenal.
It, uh, it was necessary.
But
Anyways, that's our show.
that's our show. This
Follow us
Yeah.
on Instagram at BF Material Pod. We're gonna put it up here somewhere. Please follow me. I love your follows at Hey Gabby Mendez. Oh my god, my phone is Thea's going off. Thea,
You
silence.
can follow me at my small business, Rosa Terra.
Right there.
I make handmade jewelry. Fun.
Like this shit is. Can we edit that out? The beep? No way, right? That's not gonna be able to be edited out.
Depends, but I'll try. So don't
Let's
worry. Okay, thank you for listening.
and if you have any suggestions and topics,
Yeah.
DM us. We love those. And yeah, we have more episodes coming. And thank you so much for being part of the boyfriend crew.
Okay.
We love you.